Now, as of now that I'm recording this video on November 23rd, 3i Atlas is in the constellation of Virgo. It's not from our solar system. It's passing through right now. And it's carrying a frequency that we have never experienced here before. Why it matters so much that it is interstellar is because this is not just any old comet from our neighborhood. It comes from outside of our solar system. It's carrying a very different frequency. And on the 19th, right before the solstice, is when 3i Atlas will be the closest to the Earth that it will be, as far as we know now. This energy amplifies whatever it is that you're holding, for better or worse. So if it's fear, if it's love, anger, purpose, truth, all of it is being amplified by these energies. It's all getting lit. It's an activation. It's a collective activation. And it's waking something up within us, both individually, especially, and collectively. It is a lot right now. We're rewiring. This is upgrading energy, not sickness. Hello everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you today about 3i Atlas. This has been a question that I have been getting consistently for the last 2 months or so, and I've hesitated on coming on and giving my thoughts about it because I wasn't really too sure and I wanted to do my own research. I know that I have definitely been feeling the energetic piece to, which I now know is 3i Atlas, the incoming energies of this comet. But before I came on and gave any kind of insights, I needed to also research it myself and really feel and channel the energies to see what comes up for me. So here I am to talk about it. First off, 3i Atlas is an interstellar object. It's not from our solar system. It's passing through right now. And it's carrying a frequency that we have never experienced here before. Everything is frequency, everything is energy. This is not random. The timing of this is not random. It's an activation. It's a collective activation. And it's waking something up within us, both individually, especially, and collectively. So what exactly is 3i Atlas? What is the technical definition of 3i Atlas as we know it? So scientifically speaking, 3i Atlas is the third confirmed interstellar object ever detected, meaning it did not originate in our solar system. 3i Atlas was discovered on July 1st of this year, July 1st, 2025, by the Atlas Observatory, hence the name. Another thing is that it's moving on a hyperbolic trajectory, meaning that it's passing through. It's not going to come back. Important to note, and I felt this even before I really looked into this, there is no danger to us with 3i Atlas. I got that clearly. It will not come closer than 1.0 astronomical units, AU. It's almost twice the Earth's distance from the sun. And it is not visible to the naked eye. This is what we know. Allow me to reiterate though, while astronomically it's safe, energetically, spiritually, it's very significant. Why it matters so much that it is interstellar is because this is not just any old comet from our neighborhood. It comes from outside of our solar system. It's carrying a very different frequency. These frequencies carry unfamiliar elemental signatures. It's a foreign energetic imprint, and it's a frequency that we are not used to. This makes 3i Atlas a cosmic messenger and not just a space rock. Think of the name 3i, third eye. Think about this as intuitive downloads, a massive awakening taking place. There is so much. We're going to get into all of this. Interstellar means new code, new information, new activation. The channel's message that I keep getting these last few weeks and months is light it up, but with intention. And I fully understand that now with the energies, the incoming energies of 3i Atlas. Along with all of the other planetary signatures and all of the other astrological happenings that we've got going on right now, this energy amplifies whatever it is that you're holding, for better or worse. So if it's fear, if it's love, anger, purpose, truth, all of it is being amplified by these energies. It's all getting lit. So now more than ever, conscious intention is everything. Energetically speaking, think of this as the frequency of love, the frequency of awakening. This is especially connected to the heart chakra. This is all about the love frequency, the frequency of love. We've been talking about this, or at least I've been talking about this for months, if not years. We are all waking up to higher states of consciousness. There is a lot of emotional purging and clearing that has been going on. And with that deep and profound healing, along with cellular rewiring, we are not the same. We are not who we once were, and we are not quite yet who we are becoming. So in this in-between space, it can often feel uncomfortable and maybe even anxious, anxiety producing, as we are shifting to catch up with all of these energies. What you might be physically experiencing now more than ever are heart palpitations, headaches, ringing of the ears, vertigo, digestive disturbances, a lot of purging, okay? Bouts of releasing, okay, expelling waste, and then bouts of where we feel like we're holding it in and we can't let go. Not to be too graphic or gross, but this is a collective theme right now, along with the heart chakra especially. Massive emotional purging taking place and amazing sudden clarity and downloads. Psychic abilities, intuition is up to a whole new level. It's also important to mention that not everybody is on the same timeline with this awakening that's taking place. And so you may find that you can be with a group of friends who are not at the same level as you when it comes to this ascension process. And if you start to talk about this, and I know because I have a lot of this in my life, people will look at you like you're insane, like you're woo-woo, wackadoodle, like, whoa, what are you talking about? But when you really break it down and explain it, the energetic component behind all of this, it typically does leave even those who are very skeptical wondering and contemplating, there is more. Is there more? Yes, there is. We know that. You know that, or you wouldn't be watching this right now. You're obviously feeling it. We are all feeling it. Definitely pop off in the comments below and let me know what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. It can be very overwhelming at times, and this is where I always suggest that you pray it up to whomever it is that you pray to, your ancestors, your spirit guides, Archangel Michael, whomever. Pray it up to them, give it to them and say, this is a little bit much for me right now. Can you please calm it down? That typically does work. And I have to tell you that in October, I was hit with a 2-week period, and it coincided, actually it started at the equinox. It started back at the end of September with the Libra equinox, the autumn equinox. I was feeling tremendous codes of energy, downloads coming in to the point that it was like really knocking me off my center, and that doesn't typically happen to me very often. I may have a bout here and there, and I can typically correlate where it's coming from and what energy center it's related to and what's going on in my life and then within the collective. But this was like next level. I'll leave it at that. It was a 2-week time period. This was before I had even started really paying attention to 3i Atlas. And then it was only when people were asking me and I could connect, oh my gosh, this is what I was feeling in October. But I digress. There is also massive breakthroughs happening, especially in relationships. Some are truly coming together where others are falling apart and or falling away. We have to trust the process. We have to trust in the higher order of what our soul needs for our soul's evolution. There's a strong physical detox going on as well. So take care of the physical body. It is a lot right now. We're rewiring. This is upgrading energy, not sickness. And I always give this disclaimer. Please, please, please get yourself checked out by a medical professional if you were having issues. Don't always just chalk this up to energy or the ascension process. Just make sure that everything is good and everything checks out. But providing that you do that and everything is good, think of this as an upgrading of energy, not sickness, not illness. We're literally being rewired to hold more light, to hold more love. Now, I want to give you some key dates, and you can do your own reflection on this to see how you were feeling or if anything jumps out at you around these times, because I know that for me, I can definitely connect a lot of the movement of 3i Atlas to a lot of the things that I have been experiencing. So early October, 3i Atlas passed by Mars. Mars is pure energy. Mars is pure force. Mars is activation, our drive, our motivation, our aggression, our ability to take action. And in Libra, because Mars was in Libra at this time, Mars is also about trying to find peace. So this time period was about bringing peace into your life, into your reality in one way or another, in one relationship or another. And there could be a bit of conflict that was being felt around that, around the balance and the power dynamics in relationships. While at the same time, there was a slowdown of internal conflict and clarity about which direction that you might need to go. It could have also been a particularly spiky time for you energetically, meaning that you were more inflamed, more irritated more easily. Then early November, that's when 3i Atlas was closest to Venus. And this is the time where you may have really felt or been experiencing a lot of that energy within the heart chakra, the heart activations, the flutters, the palpitations, the feeling sometimes of almost like a dagger going from the front to the back, which sounds very scary and can feel very scary. That's why I always say, get yourself checked out. Even if the episode passes quickly, the bouts of dizziness, the ringing of the ears, the headaches, it can be a lot. It is a lot. We were having a massive heart chakra activation early November as 3i Atlas was close to Venus. And at this time, those first 2 weeks of November especially, you could have found tremendous clarity when it comes to one or more significant relationships in your life, relationships of all kinds. And most importantly, the most important relationship that we will ever have, which is the one to self. Lots of realizations, and they're still incoming. The end of October, and this one I felt big time. The end of October, roughly like the 29th through the 30th, was when 3i Atlas was the closest to the sun, known as perihelion. There was a mega charge of energy at this time. You may have been feeling surges of heat and or electricity throughout your body, emotion rising up to the surface out of seemingly sometimes out of nowhere, begging to be seen, begging to be heard, begging to be felt. This time period was a mega charge, also a very strong purification energy. All of this is a very strong purification energy. Now, as of now that I'm recording this video on November 23rd, 3i Atlas is in the constellation of Virgo. Virgo is one of the zodiac signs, is the zodiac sign with the archetype of the purifier, the purification. I call Virgo the priestess of purification. Very strong cleansing energy right now. Mind, body, spirit. Now, you're probably going to want to mark your calendars. I am just about to put out my early December forecast, and a lot of what I'm saying here is going to connect to that. You'll see. Astrologically speaking, December 10th through the 20th, I have this flagged as peak energies. Massive incoming waves of energy. So do what you can do to ground yourself and stay as centered as possible and in the higher vibration of emotion. Of course, it's easy to fall into negativity at times. We cannot help it. I'm not saying that you have to be happy, happy, happy all of the time, but you're going to want to try to keep yourself in a lighter vibration at this time because the energy physically is going to feel very strong. That's also the point where we're leading into winter solstice or summer solstice, depending on where you are in the world. Either way, those solstice energies, those windows getting closer to the solstice, are always very profound and very strong, energetically speaking. And these are windows of time when we absolutely feel that energy of recalibration taking place, even if you haven't always recognized it as such. This is where the body, again, goes through a massive purification process because the spirit is also going through this purification process, this renewal and recalibration energy. And this is happening at this time where the energies of 3i Atlas are super intense. This is a huge wave of energy that's coming in. And on the 19th, right before the solstice, is when 3i Atlas will be the closest to the Earth that it will be, as far as we know now. Again, it's not physically close, but it's energetically very loud. This is the time where you're going to really want to reflect upon all of your commitments, all of your relationships, everything that you're doing. What are you working on? What can you let go of? What can you release that is no longer serving you? How to realign. That's going to feel very strong at this point of the solstice. When we get to March of 2026, it will also be eclipse season. Just want to mention that. This is where 3i Atlas is projected to pass Jupiter. And this is going to accelerate expansion, purpose, blessings, if you're in the, let's say, the higher vibrational energies here. This is an acceleration of destiny on all fronts. This is going to be collective as well. So we can call this time, this March period, the true awakening window, as far as 3i Atlas is concerned. So early December, we'll be going into this strong Virgo energy with 3i Atlas, which again is all about that purification of the mind, the body, especially Virgo is very strongly linked to our physical health, our physicality. It's also about our mental health and well-being. So it's very important that we stay close to those who, not to sound cheesy, but to those who feel like sunlight, those who lift us up, those who bring joy into our life. And not everyone's a picnic, all the time. We know that, but you know what I mean. The people that, your people, spend more time there. And even if it's not in person, if it's online, it's the same thing. You're still getting that, you're still carrying that vibration. You're still getting that energy, the energetic surge. Let's also mention that after Virgo, after the purification process, which at times can feel heavy, I'm not going to sugarcoat that, it can feel heavy. I do feel the digestion is going to be probably very challenging for a lot of us come December, especially. I have felt a lot of that pretty much the last couple of weeks. I'm hoping that I tend to feel the energies way before, so I'm hoping that that was it for me. But going into December, I do feel like there's going to be this massive, another massive awakening window here where we're going to be experiencing tremendous purging and purification, and that does have to come out of the body. Remember, there's a higher purpose to this. It's priestess energy. Your intuition is coming in stronger. It's coming online more strongly. We all have psychic ability. We're all intuitive beings. The more connected you are to that, the more you're going to feel this. And what sign comes after Virgo? Leo. Leo is all about the love. Leo's about the heart. This is that true love vibration. This is courage. This is radiance. This is authenticity and leading with love and following your heart, even when it does not necessarily align with others' truth or with others' perception or opinion of you, because hopefully you're working really hard to cleanse yourself of that, to purify. So think of this 3i Atlas energy in this order energetically, spiritually speaking. Purify, rise, love. The spiritual impact of 3i Atlas, collectively speaking, is going from 3D to 4D to 5D, the third dimension to the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. 3D, the third dimension, is where we are every day. This is, we get up, we go to work. This is our basic life. This is the energy of the ego. We're all in our ego in the third dimension. This is where we feel and deal with emotions such as survival, fear, separation. This is where we can tend to get stuck. 4D, which is where many of us are operating right now, and a lot are beginning to wake up to this and operate here. This is the point where you're awakening. What I mean by that is you're awakening and you're starting to question everything. And with that comes a very strong energy of healing. I see this all of the time with a lot of the clients that I'm working with that may not have even considered themselves to be intuitive or anything like that. And all of a sudden they've had an experience, or they've just woken up in a totally different direction. And they're realizing that there's more to what they've thought life, that's the 3D, right? The third dimension, to what life is all about. Yes, we need the three-dimensional things, right? We need the job, we need to make money, we need the car, we need these things. But 4D is where you come into that realization that it's much more spiritual than material. You start to truly recognize that. And then there's 5D. We can't stay in 5D for too long because we'll just be in woo-woo land all of the time, because we still have to live in reality. At the end of the day, we are souls here having a human experience. And part of that human experience is we do fall back. I don't care how evolved you are. We do fall back into the three-dimensional energies and the lower vibrational energies at times of fear, doubt, envy, separation, all of that, the ego-based functions that are instilled in us to help us to survive. That's our survival instinct to protect us. We all will fall back into that at times, but more importantly, it's about how you recognize it and rise above it. That's how you go from 3D to 4D. 5D is complete unity, complete love, intuition, heightened awareness, and oneness, the recognition that we are all one. 5D is not about transitioning or leaving this earth, contrary to what has been said about 5D. It's not about leaving this earth. It's about changing. It's about elevating our frequency while we're still here. So we're not moving to a new plane, we're moving to a new level of consciousness. Animals live in the fifth dimension. They are pure light and unconditional love. Think about that. They love us no matter what. They don't judge us. Well, I think they do silently judge us at times, but really they don't. They're unconditional. Speaking of animals, if you have an animal or if you're around animals a lot, you've probably noticed that their behavior has been different lately, for better or worse. They are also very, very much feeling these frequencies, potentially even more so than we are. Animals hold the 5D energy frequency naturally. They live in presence. Everything is in the present moment with them. They live in unity. Animals also act as emotional healers. I don't think I need to really go into that, especially if you have animals or are around them a lot. They absorb and clear energy for us all of the time. They also help us to transition out of fear, and they hold us in that love vibration. Think about the love you have for your animals if you have animals. It's unconditional. That's 5D. Think of how amazing this world would be if we all lived in that vibration. Animals are the true light carriers. All of that to say, just know that they are likely, if they're not already behaving or responding to these energies, they will likely be doing so, especially as we get to December. They may behave differently during this wave of energy. They might be more clingy, for example, much more alert, much more intuitive, much more tuned in. They could be very sporadic with their eating and their sleeping. Of course, always consult a vet if there's an issue, but they're responding to these energies as well. They may be sleeping more. They might be more lethargic. Always monitor, but also stay aware. I'm sorry if there was a weird glitch here with the video. My power actually just flickered on and off. That was weird. So I had to reset this up and come back. So if the lighting looks different, that's why. We left off talking about the animals and how animals are in the fifth dimension and how they're already in that frequency of unconditional love. And they also see and feel energy much differently than we do. They're much more, especially cats, they're much more connected to spirit. And they're going to be really feeling this energy very heightened, especially the beginning of December all the way to the solstice point. So just know that. Give them a little extra loving. They're going to need it. And I'm sure they're going to be giving you extra loving as well. Super clingy. Our animals are our light carriers. Astrologically speaking, what I found very interesting is that if you look at the chart of when the sun enters Capricorn, and that ushers in the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere, the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere, let's just take a look at this chart real quick. The sun enters Capricorn on December 21st at 10:04 a.m. Eastern Time. Here's the sun at 0 degrees of Capricorn. And Mars is right here at 4 degrees of Capricorn, quite close to the sun. The sun and Mars are pure energy, especially together. They're pure energy, pure light, pure essence. And in Capricorn, it's pure motivation, pure structure, pure drive. And we also have Venus over here at 26 degrees of Sagittarius, not too far from the sun. So the sun is basically sandwiched by Mars and Venus. And Mars and Venus, Mars is the divine masculine, where Venus is the divine feminine. This is yin and yang. This is balance. This is light and recalibration. Think about the energy that the solstice carries. It's always a point of renewal, reflection, recalibration. Energetically speaking, it's quite symbolic. This is where we have the longest day of the year and or longest night of the year, depending upon where you are in the world, which hemisphere you're in. But energetically speaking, it's very symbolic because it's a strong point of recognition, reflection, release, and then most importantly, recalibration. And we've got the energy of this solstice here with 3i Atlas, with the sun, between Mars and Venus, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, yin and yang, the balance. This is divine fusion, divine feminine fusion. This is where structure meets love and action meets purpose. This is awesome, but it will feel like a lot energetically. This is absolutely a rebirth point for the collective, but it's up to the individuals how they acknowledge and manage these energies. Now, I apologize because I feel like I'm jumping around a lot, but there's just so much that I want to say and I don't want to miss anything. And I may have already said this, what we may be feeling and experiencing physically, what people may be feeling is fatigue and sometimes extreme fatigue, purging, emotional waves, highs and lows, totally normal. That will be enhanced. Heart sensations, the heart chakra activations, vivid dreams. The dream space has been quite colorful these last few months, especially all of November, but expect that to be even more so, even more vivid with messages and symbolism and even sometimes prophecy coming through. Strong energy of visitation from our loved ones in the spirit world, our guides. This is a great time if you've been wanting to connect to your spirit guides or ask them to show themselves to you. This is a great time to do some meditations before you go to bed. The synchronicities are going to be really intense. And if they've been intense already, I know that you've all been feeling that, but they're going to become even more intense and a lot of turning points in your relationships. And you're going to also notice this with people outside of you. You'll be talking to them and they'll be telling you about all these changes going on in their life, and you can be feeling the same thing in yours. There's lots of turning points within relationships, within all relationships. Don't panic, rather integrate. Just some ways that you can work with these energies to make it feel a little bit less intense or maybe just a little bit easier on you. Look for intention in everything. Ask yourself, what do I want these energies to amplify? What do I want this energy to amplify? Grounding is extremely important. Get out into nature, go for walks, take baths, Epsom salt baths. Allow yourself moments of stillness. When it comes to the heart, try your best to act from love, not from fear. Think 5-dimension love, 3-dimension fear. And many times you'll be straddling the middle at the 4th dimension, and that's okay. We're all human at the end of the day. It's also worth mentioning, respond, do not react, and observe rather than absorb, or at least try to. Remember that 3i Atlas did not come here to harm us. It came to wake us. It came to wake us up. And it came at the perfect time. Divine timing. Okay. I gotta stop now because the drilling outside of my office on a Sunday, by the way, is driving me bonkers. So it's probably driving you bonkers. And I apologize. I would have stopped, but I really just was in the zone and I wanted to keep going with this. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling, what you're experiencing, if this resonates. And if you want to track 3i Atlas yourself, you can do so at skylive.com. Now, as of today, November 23rd, 3i Atlas, the coordinates are approximately at 1 degree, 42 minutes in Virgo, in the constellation of Virgo. So, like I said, 3i Atlas is no longer in the constellation of Libra. And it will make its closest approach to Earth on December 19th, right at the entrance of the winter or summer solstice. But we are not in danger. Now, I would think, although I'm not 100% sure of this, any new data or check-in will be really strong around that March 16th point when 3i Atlas will come close to Jupiter. So yeah, if you want to track 3i Atlas real-time, skylive.com would probably be your best bet. Now, I also just want to emphasize that astrology readings, spiritual readings on 3i Atlas of its position are symbolic rather than strictly orbital degrees. I guess what I'm trying to say is, everything I have said from the technical side about 3i Atlas is what I have researched. But the spiritual component, this meaning feels much more accessible than exact positions for our consumption. That's how I feel. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from an energetic perspective, from what this is awakening on the planet, within us, for all of us, outside of us. Take really good care, and I will talk to you all soon. You can find all of my information in the description box below. Take care.